What's up, guys? My name is Nathan Long, and so I did the series, like just looking back, remembering the series of Toronto and Boston, and now I'm going to do the series of Columbus and Boston. So this series was epic. And when I watched it, it was really cool. I loved watching it. It was almost as epic as the Eastern Conference Finals, even though that only lasted 4 games. But we'll talk about that in another video, the next video. And, so, Columbus and Boston. And I want to backtrack a little bit because Columbus had faced the President's Trophy winners, Tampa. Tampa Bay Lightning, they had tied a record, and they looked like, if you look at my bracket, and I did do a video on it a while back, I picked Tampa and Calgary to go to the Stanley Cup Final for a rematch of 2004, I think. And that did not happen because Calgary got knocked out by Colorado, and Colorado was going to face the San Jose Sharks. I was actually okay with that. I wasn't really thrilled with the idea of Calgary facing my Sharks, but, Colorado was cool, because if you don't know, I'm a weird fan. I like the Kings and the Sharks. I know that's kind of weird, but, still, anyway, Colorado faces San Jose on the other end, and Columbus had swept Tampa and upset them. And that had been the first time that had happened to a President's Trophy winner. And I was really happy about it. I remember jumping up and down when I watched that game because I thought if Boston faces Tampa, like they did the year before this, they are done. They will lose. But if Columbus faces Boston, if Boston doesn't have to face Tampa, I think they win the Stanley Cup this year. So, and there was a little bit of biasness in that. But anyway, they were gonna face Columbus, and I was like, uh-oh, my prediction's actually changing. I think Columbus might actually beat Boston, because they've got all the momentum on their side. They just swept Tampa Bay. So Game 1 happens, and both teams played pretty well. Both teams played nice. I thought both teams were playing relatively well. It went into overtime, and Boston ended up winning. And I was pretty happy. I was like, okay, we got Game 1. That is good. We got a head start on Columbus. I still don't know if Boston's going to win the series. But, yeah. So, Game 2 comes around. And again, both teams played pretty well. Sergei Bobrovsky, the goaltender for Columbus, and Tuukka Rask, the goaltender for Boston, if you didn't know, you probably already did, they were having kind of a goaltender duel. They were both doing pretty good for themselves, they were kind of having a goalie duel, Columbus ends up winning in overtime, and I was like, okay, well, Columbus won in overtime. They won in Boston. That's pretty cool for them, I guess. I wasn't really happy about it. But anyway, they go into Game 3. And I remember going to school the next day, and I went into my history class. My history teacher, you already know, we were kind of had a bet, I guess, for a candy bar on the Toronto-Boston series, so it wasn't really a bet. He was telling me that Boston is going to lose and this and that, and I was like, no, Boston may lose, but no, they're not going to lose. Even though I thought they might to Columbus. Game 3 comes around, and Columbus played really well in Columbus. they won to get a 2-1 series lead. And I was like, oh crap. Columbus is gonna beat Boston. Like, that sucks, even though it wasn't even a 3-1 series lead yet. But I thought this is the beginning and the end for Boston. This kind of sucks, but it was a good run. And they go into Game 4, and there really wasn't any doubt when Game 4 was going on that Boston wasn't going to win. There really wasn't any doubt. But Boston won. They tied up the series, and it was a really fun game. So they go back to Boston. It's probably going to be a little hard for Columbus to win, but anyway. They go into Boston, and when this is happening, they are in the second round. The New York Islanders were facing the Carolina Hurricanes, and they were going back to Raleigh, North Carolina. And my dad was fortunate enough to go to the playoff games, and he was really into the Carolina Hurricanes. He really liked them that season, and he still likes them today. And so they go in, and Carolina's kind of beating the crap out of the Islanders, which kind of made me upset because I really hated Carolina. I thought the Storm Surge. I still think the Storm Surge is kind of disrespectful. I don't like. I thought a lot of people were jumping on the bandwagon of Carolina. I just really did not like them. And they're kind of beating the crap out of the Islanders, which kind of made me upset. But anyway, going back to this Game 5 against Columbus, Boston comes in, and Tuukka Rask plays really, really well. And despite Bobrovsky playing well, Tuukka Rask plays better, and they win. And I think it was after Game 5 that this is what I remember most in the series. John Tortorella starts getting, like, mouthy with the reporters. I guess he was always like that. But, he starts getting really mouthy because, I think John Tortorella is a good coach, but he's bad sport. It's pretty bad sport. There's no doubt about that in my mind. And he's got a few screws loose, I think. So he was kind of mouthing off to the reporters, and Game 6 rolls around. It's an elimination game. I'm actually really happy for this game because I'm like, Boston could go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Before Game 5, Carolina had already beat the Islanders, and I was furious. I did not want Boston to face Carolina. I thought it was a bad matchup for Boston. And I thought that Carolina's a really good team, and they have a lot of momentum swinging in their favor, so, they could actually beat Boston, I think. So I really didn't want Boston to face Carolina, but I didn't want them to lose to Columbus either. So Boston goes in, and Tuukka Rask played excellent. Tuukka Rask played really, really good hockey. Better than he had in all of the previous playoff games. He had played really good hockey. And he just played great. And Bobrovsky did too, but Tuukka Rask played much better. And still, I'm looking at this, and I think it was Game 6 that it was. Columbus hit 3 or 4 posts. Despite Tuukka Rask being well, they still hit 3 or 4 posts, which Boston won the game 3-0. So Columbus really had some opportunities to be in the game, to be there, to be a really competitive team and take it to a Game 7. But still, Tuukka Rask played really, really well, and Boston won it 3-0. Now, in the third period, Charlie McAvoy hits, I forgot who, but he hits a guy in the head check, illegal head check. And at this point, they're all booing him. and Charlie McAvoy, you could tell he felt bad. He looked like he felt bad. And they're taking the guy out, and the refs go, all right, 2-minute minor illegal check to the head. So they did not score on that 2-minute power play, which I think probably made them a bit more mad. But still, it looked, a lot of people were saying Charlie McAvoy is going to be suspended, which he did get suspended. But Boston held on and they won, and Charlie McAvoy did have a conversation with the guy he hit in the handshake line, which I thought was pretty cool. And Boston moves on to the Eastern Conference Finals. And John Tortorella loses his crap after Game 6. I remember seeing it, and I was like, oh, wow. He really got upset. He was really upset. Charlie McAvoy got suspended for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final, which did not make me any happier. I really was not confident in Boston at that time against Carolina. But I was excited to watch the series. I just wasn't happy about it. But anyway, I will talk about that in the next video. That series actually went extremely well. But anyway, these videos are fun to do, looking back on the Boston Bruins playoffs. And a game after this, San Jose Sharks would move on to the Western Conference Final. So I was I thought that Boston and San Jose may face each other, and I was really happy about that. But St. Louis was also there, too, and I actually was okay with St. Louis winning as well, if they won the Western Conference. But anyway, bye, guys. I will see you in the next video. Thumbs up, subscribe.